All right, Queen.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much
Well, my
for being
name
on here.
is
Can you
Maja
tell us a little bit
Sly.
about
I
yourself and
am
we'll
a
get
serial
started?
entrepreneur and an affordable housing advocate.
I love it. Yeah, Marcus, I gotta get off that cricket. Yeah. I, but it's Verizon, man. They just not doing me no love. They just don't. They not rocking with me. They saying,
They
"Yo,
just want
B,
you to
go
go spend some.
upgrade your phone. Go do something. Go get a new line or something." I don't know what they doing. I Yeah, I know, right? That's how they doing me, but it's okay. I ain't complaining. So what made you get into real estate? Like,
Well, I
I
came from
really
the
want to
beauty
know what were you
industry.
doing
So
before
I've
that
been
to
in the
transfer
industry.
into real estate?
I started working in a salon when I was 13.
Mm,
So I've been in the beauty industry my entire life. But I owned a salon in my 20s. I owned my first salon in Buckhead. If you live in Atlanta, you know, like that's when Buckhead was like Buckhead. I've been in Atlanta for 22 years. So I opened my first salon there in 99.
mm,
And I got my real estate license in 2001. And when the planes were crashing, September 11th, I'll never forget where I was. I'm a huge history buff, and that
mm.
day, like the world changed, but my life changed completely. Like like it was like no money you've ever seen. It was crazy.
Mm. So tell me, what made that transition happen? Like, what made you say, "Yo, I want to get out the beauty
Well, I
industry. I
did.
want
I
to go into
balanced in
real
both.
estate,"
I worked
or
behind the chair and
balancing
sold
both?
real
Like,
estate full
what was
time for
that?
almost 3 years. So, like, both because it was so hard for me to leave the beauty industry. I was making six figures and working 3, 4 days a week. So, it was kind of one of those situations that I had to force myself to leave because I was at this point, there's no check that doesn't have a comma in real estate. So, I'm going to stay here and, do a $60 roller set, or am I going to
Mm,
go sell a house and an out? So it was one of those situations that, the timing was perfect. I took all of my knowledge, information, business, all my transferable skills from beauty and put them into real estate. And what I found when I got into real estate was my degree is in finance. So most realtors don't want to be bothered with the money aspect of it. They're like, oh, I don't get into all of that. I'm like, well, you better get into it because I'm like, these gas prices, you better know what your client's financial situation is. And that's really the only way that you can help
yeah.
people. So when I purchased my first house in Atlanta, I purchased in what's considered a gentrification area now. And like, it was one of those situations where this is a full circle moment for me because when I got into the industry, I did not go get my real estate license to sell real estate. I got my real Yeah, I got my real estate license it was going to be my play money because I'm
Mm,
one of those people. I have a lot of information. I absorb a lot of information. I go down a rabbit hole, and I've always shared a lot of information. And at that time, my client base were all, professional young women making $70,000, $80,000 a year. And they weren't going to just be paying rent in Atlanta or $200,000 house. That was you falling out of control. And your payment was going to be 12, 13, 1400. So I learned about all these grant programs and referred my clients. And when I referred my clients, after the fourth sale, the agent never even sent me as much as a thank you note. And I was just like, you know what? I'm finding the houses for them and getting them, to the programs to get their loans. I was like, I'll just do it on the side. And I got September 11th, closed my first house. One of my clients in, and
woo,
it's
that was a
kind of one of
good
those things
start.
like right now, people say, should I get my real estate license right now? The market's so tough. I said, get into it when it's hard because everything else will be easy. I was like, I feel only sold houses when rates were 2.75 and
I
3%
love that.
because it's going to be very difficult for them to navigate this market. Like there's not a market now that I haven't seen. I've seen the Great Recession. I've seen when you could just breathe and get a loan. And I've now
Yeah.
lived through a pandemic. And so it's kind of one of those situations like if you understand history, you understand the numbers and the economy, you can find your way in real estate in different spaces. Everyone's not going to be a luxury home agent. Everyone's not going to want to cater to a first time home buyer because it is a lot of work. But for me, those clients, I sell houses to them over and over and over again because I take the time to explain to them exactly what's going on in this process. Most people don't, they're afraid to ask questions. or you have the ones that ask they resell to death. Like, I'm not about to sit here and like, I'm not going to convince you to buy a house. Like, this is what, these are the rates. This is rent. This is what you can afford. This is what you qualify for. Let's see what you can get. I mean, it's really just that simple.
I love it. So was the whole time were you doing affordable housing, or what made that transition to go to more affordable houses and not so much everything? Because when you hear real estate agents and brokers, they just go for anything. Anybody want to buy, anybody want to sell, anybody want to invest, I'm here. But you said, I want to niche down and go to this specific really audience. What made that happen?
Transitioning back into real estate. So I came from beauty, killed it in real estate. Like, I was, you know, Camp Creek, if you know Camp Creek Parkway, I was a queen of Camp. Like, everything over there was, you know, that was one of those things. I put billboards up before people were doing billboards and buses and things like that. So when I did that, it was one of those situations, the business came to me, and because I marketed myself, of course I could sell your house. Like, the house was easy. They need to be able to, people buy from what? People they know, like, and trust. So if you billboard, they almost feel like they know you. Like, they feel they know you. And so for me at that time, this was 01. So about 04, I started doing developments. So this is full circle for me. It's now 2023. And so I sold for a developer who had never built on the south side of town. So he had no idea what the MPU board was. He didn't have any idea that you need to get the community's approval for you to build something. Like, he was from Cherokee County. So a good old boy inherited land. And so I got to learn a lot of stuff that most agents would never, ever learn, because I had 150 listings from minimum price point 300 to 500. He was like, I'm not going to do it. I was like, I'll go do it. He didn't pay me to go do it. I went to do it because the faster we got through zoning, the faster we were going to have lots, the faster I was going to get a check. So it was on the job training. It was understanding that, you know, you don't have to know everything to be able to learn the process. Everything is just a piece of paper. Reading and comprehension is very important. And none of this is law school. None of this is medical school. Most of the stuff is in plain English. You just have to read, and you have to be able to overcome objections. So I was on debate in high school. So every single skill is transferable. And I'm one of those people, I don't take no for an answer. And if you tell me no, I need to know why. So I can come back and give you what you want so I can get what I want. And so I learned that as an agent working for a developer who just really gave me a lot of freedom. And he allowed me to be me, because I wasn't paying me anything to do it. So people have no idea how much you can learn just by being a fly on the wall and working for somebody for free. Because the things that I do now, I couldn't have paid I couldn't have gone to a university to learn how to do it. There's no class for it. Like how we give out information now, someone can pay us for a class now. You couldn't do that in 04, 05. You know, you just couldn't. And so at that point, I was in very high-end space, but I had two different clients. I had a high-end client, and then I had the first-time home buyer or investor client. So everybody who bought a home from me, I showed them how to become an investor so that home could offset their mortgage. And so in doing so, you know, again, all of these things were just a matriculation. I had no idea that that's what it was, what I was doing. It was, oh, this makes sense. I hadn't read it anywhere, but the numbers. And in doing that, a client bought a house from me. I didn't have to serve 100 clients. I have one client who would buy 5 houses. So they would buy one primary residence, and instead of putting 20% down, you could get an investor loan back there for 5% down. I was like, well, why don't you just get 4 doors and let the rent roll offset your mortgage? And these were people who, where we are now, relocating from California and New York. So a $300,000 house was nothing to them. Yeah, it was a mansion. Like they were coming out of, 1,200 square feet in Inglewood, or, 1,200 or 1,300 square feet in New York or New Jersey, and coming with cash, but a lot of liquid cash to put down. And they were like, oh, I would have put 20% down so I don't have to pay mortgage insurance. I was like, well, that's only like $200-$300 a month. Like, why would you put down $60,000 to save $300? Why wouldn't you just buy 2-3 properties, have a rent roll, let that offset the more, and they would, one client would refer more clients and more clients and more clients. And so it was really just understanding the numbers, having really good relationships with other agents, and it turned into something I had no idea. Like, I was the first out of my office to hit $1 million in commission sales, and they were like, huh? And I was like, huh? I mean, I was working, it wasn't, I set a goal and I was working, and I spent a lot of money on personal development back then. So I was going to Tony Robbins conferences back then. I was going to Craig Proctor conferences back then. Conferences were $3,000-$5,000 then. So, people don't understand. Give them access to information for $1,000, $500. Like, it was $3,000 just for the ticket, not the flight, not the hotel, and you were in a mastermind all day. And when you came back, you felt like you could knock down a wall because you were around like-minded people. But there was never anybody in the room that looked like me.
Yeah. Can I ask?
Oh my God, it was.
Question?
It's immeasurable what I learned in those spaces, and they're always looking for someone like us. As a Black woman, I tell any Black female specifically, I'm like, if you're in an industry that is dominated by men on the development side, as a Black female, you want to be in the room because they need you more than you need them. Because they get more contracts with you on their team and then don't be smart and have an added value. Oh my God, you can write your own ticket.
Yep.
And the audience they need to serve. Yeah, they're trying to build in our neighborhoods, but they don't understand our client. They don't understand that they're not putting $25,000 down in earnest money on a $300,000 house because they don't have it. They've got $150,000 student loan debt. They can afford the payment, but you don't need their earnest money because it's going to come back to them at the table anyway. So just really how to speak our language to them without them trying to feel sorry for us, because you still need our money. Like, at the end of the day, it's all cash to the builder at closing. So people say I'm paying cash. It's all cash to him at closing, because when he gets his money at the closing table, it's cash from the bank. So understand, because I'm from a all white town, so I was in competition cheer growing up. So like a good old boy, that's who I grew up with. So I know how to speak to him. I know how to break things down to him. And I also know that the only color people really understand is green. That's it.
That's it. And the reason why I wanted to see how important it was for you to be in the room back then is because I teach and I preach people to get in the rooms now, right? Like, even for us, we got a 3-day content boot camp in Atlanta at the end of this month, February 24th to the 26th. It's 3 days. And it's teaching you how to create impactful content so you can scale online. But a lot of people don't understand the importance of being in the room. I'm saying, I've been in mastermind where I paid $25,000 just to get in the event. That ain't even a program on the back end. That's just to get in the room. And so when we getting high level information, I'm telling people, hey, we giving it to you for little to nothing so you can get in a room. Don't overlook it. Get in the room so you can scale and grow. Even back then, you said it was so important for you to get in the room, and it hasn't changed. And so a big thing I see you said was, like, in 2019, you started creating content
That's all I did.
that wasn't selling but more informational, right?
So in 2018, I was on the road with Eric Thomas. I was the first female they ever had speak on a stage with them. And if you know ET and you go to, like, it's like, wow, and like, he will make you feel like you can do anything. And it was at the end of 2017. I had just finished filming. I used to film a television show. And I was just exhausted. Like, I was mentally exhausted. I was physically spent. And I was at a place where I knew I did not want all of those locations anymore. I had 6 salons, 47 employees, $25,000 payroll every single week, filming 6-7 days a week. And you film television, you got to be on, like, because you don't know what's coming. And it's television and it lives forever. And, you want to be the best version of yourself. And so when I decided to go on television, I didn't go on television to be a reality star. I said, I'm going to go on here to promote my business. And that if you don't say it, they can't play it. So I was very intentional about, what I would even talk about on television. And for me, when I got off tour with Eric, the best thing that I ever learned from that experience is that you can't sell people on things that they don't want. Like, if they want, they will pay whatever. So I was never in a situation, because again, I came from the beauty industry. I was making 6 figures at a very early age. So I never had to run behind clients. So I learned so much about myself in that experience, because I always thought I liked people. I always thought I love people. And I realized that I don't like people at all. I like certain people. And I had been so spoiled my entire adult life, because I had been a boss my entire adult life, like a real boss in my entire adult life. So I was like how we see white people thinking they don't understand something. Mind you, I'm from the hood, but I'm from it, not of it. So I was so removed from a lot of things that I didn't realize that, oh, wait, what? Like, certain things that I would have to break down because I talk really fast. And I would be like, girl, keep up. like I have to keep up. But everyone doesn't learn the same way. So if you know Eric, CJ is his right-hand man. So CJ he made me work on my EQ, my emotional, because I'm a very alpha female. Like, let's go. But we're going to keep it moving. And it made me slow down. And I said, but when I get back, I'm going to take down every billboard and every bus I have, because that year I sold, probably $150,000, $200,000 in real estate without even trying. And I said, the biggest challenge is the student loan debt. I said, when did they get all of this student loan debt? Like, I had never seen anything like that before. And I realized it was the financial literacy that they were missing. And we had people that were making $100,000+ a year, couples who were still renting because they couldn't get their student loan debt situation together, because they couldn't, or they would fall behind on payments. Like, it was all these cluster F's. And I was just like, what are y'all doing? I said, you only have to do this, 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 and this. And no one had, or people with titles get very embarrassed because they've been the rest on smart. Well, I've always been smart, so I know smart ain't enough. I know degree is not enough. I know being cute ain't enough. Like, nobody cares about that. At the end of the day, when you don't have genuine, authentic relationships. And so I've always created a safe space, because I've always talked about my own business all the time on IG. Like, I've always been very open, very transparent. So you can talk to me about a bankruptcy. You can talk to me about ain't nothing you can tell me about that I probably haven't personally had to deal with financially, because I'm a dreamer. I'm an entrepreneur. So what do? We go balls to the wall. When we win big. When you take an L, you got to eat it. But we know that out of each one of these things, we learn something and we get back up and we're going to try again. We don't quit. And a lot of times we're trying to push people to a level that they're not ready to go. Because when you're ready to go, you will stroke that check and you won't even look back. You won't. Yeah, you won't look back. You'll pay it. But, at the end of the day, I think this generation is super spoiled. They think that, people are going to just give. I always tell them, the what is free. The how, you got to pay me for. So that year I would just go 100%. Just like this, on no production, no nothing, just because I came from television. I came from beauty. So I would content because I needed my lighting to be this, and then I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to put it out there and This is when IG Live, you could do like X amount of minutes, they would cut you off. So I was like, you know what? I'll just put the information out there, and that's all I'm going to do. And that year in my financial literacy dive is right now, every listing, every connection, every deal I'm in was from giving free information every single week on Thursday, but for 32 weeks. Yeah.
So in that case, how did
and it was not produced like, I think, of course we like it shiny, we like it pretty, we want all of this, but at the end of the day, I have 2 videos that I get paid for every single day. It's not a week that goes by that someone doesn't stroke a high ticket purchase of mine from it. And it is how to buy a home with high student loan debt, that one. And I do planners and journals. So I do planners and journals for a brand. So your content boot camp, I would create something for it so that that's your back of the room sale. So when you go on speaker tours, you know that whatever you have to sell, they want something that they can buy. They may not be able to buy a course, but they need something to leave with, to something. So I started doing them for other people. And a young lady made a video about it on YouTube. I had this business for 3 years. 3 years. All you could do, it was a landing page. They could submit their information, and then I would sit in the back of auto reply. Never even had a website because I never even had time for it. We only did 10 clients a month. And so one day I kept asking people, well, how did you hear about me? Because I only did well to best and referrals. I said, you know what? I'm going to create a website, a fully functioning website. Like I would kill one of my clients. Because it was just another stream of income for me. It wasn't something I enjoyed doing. So long story short, I have a video that I made in a beret, a black beret with a black jumpsuit on. And I was like excited about telling them about the planner. But this was my content on somebody else's page that she didn't give them my website link, nothing. She just said, pretty printing, you may know her name is Maja Sly. I'll put it in the link. She never did. So the people found me, but once I put the site up, that's a 6-figure business that literally all it is plug and play, and we create something for someone else. But it was all from just staring in a camera, no lights, no production, just a ring light. So when you say content, how does it impact your business? It impacts your business in every way because there's somebody who needs someone like you. There's someone who needs someone like me. I have clients that I've created their businesses out of, they embroider for a living. She makes 6 figures embroidering. And they were like, how? Do you know how many people need something personalized? Do you know how many teams there are? You know how many tennis teams there are? How many lacrosse teams there are? Yeah. She's in Augusta, Georgia. But, it's something for everyone. And so every item doesn't have to be a high ticket item. I say don't give everything away for free, but there's a space for you in what you do with your gift, with your gift. So some people want to do content like yours, high production. They want to know every back end office. And some people just need to say, you know what, let me just do something. And once you start seeing the needle move, then you reinvest in yourself. And that's what I teach people is you weren't making this money anyway. So think about it like this. This is free money for you. Think about if you take that money and invest in yourself and go to another level, you can run circles around people, because I can be in any conversation about affordable housing, low income tax credits, anything in that space. All of it I learned from YouTube University, and then I found a course at a accredited university so I could get the theory, so that if I go meet with a senator in Washington or a congressman, I can tell him more about the bill than he can, because it's all plain English. And they work for us. So they're like, yeah, can you be in politics? No, I would never be in politics. I want to be a political Jason. I just need to know where the money is. Where are they spending the money? Right now, What are you doing? You doing a content boot camp? You know where the money is? Research and development tax credits. They got to research how to do this. They can get a tax credit for that.
Yeah.
Digital money, you know, that's a different check. So it's a different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what we teaching them how to go get in that room. We teaching them how to do webinars, how to create funnels, how to do copy, how to create impactful content, how to have systems and automations, how to have low ticket, how to have high ticket. Literally, like it's so how to build a course, like how to build a product, how to use TikTok, how to use Instagram. Like we giving them the full shebang in 3 days. And for me, I've been shooting content for over a decade. Like I'm literally like the videographer that converted to the coach and the teacher because I've been doing it for so long and I really love it. And I love the transformation that people make. But what I had to realize, I had to go deep in and realize they can shoot the content, but some people keep the content on their computer or they keep it on their phone because they so intimidated by themselves. And so then what we realize, like, okay, let's help build the people in the beginning.
And they don't realize
then
that
get the content,
they've
then
got
show them
enough
how to move the content
on their phone from screenshots that they've made that can turn into something. But it's almost like, you know, I try to explain it like this. If you don't know addition and subtraction, you'll never be good in multiplication and division. You don't know multiplication and division, you'll never be good in algebra. So I take them to 3rd grade simple with I take you to 3rd grade simple with it, then unless you have a severe learning disability, the only person standing in your way is you, because that phone, these phones we have, even Verizon being janky with you right now, guess what? They're still on this live. This can still live tomorrow. There's going to be something that we talk about today that will make someone move.
Yes.
I've never met you a day in my life, but we're spirit animals. Why? Because we just want not just more for ourselves, but more for the people that follow us, because the people who follow you are like, they're like your cousins that you've never met. They ride for you so hard. Like it is,
yes,
they are.
They better,
it's a mess. When I was on television, they would be in the comments like fighting with each other. And I would be like, whoa, play nice. What are y'all doing? Like, it is hysterically funny. So
I love it. I want to ask you this last question because I don't want to take up too much of your time. If you had $100 to your name and had your phone and your phone bill paid
if I had
for 30 days, how would you scale a business? Yep, and the cell phone and your phone bill paid for 30 days.
For
how
that
would you use it to scale your business?
To scale my business the fastest is I would make a video about the product that I have that I know that anyone can get in, and that is a 100% USDA loan. Fill the room. The tickets would be 99 cents. I charge them 99 cents for the entry. And then for everybody they referred, they got a ticket for free. And from that, if I got 200 people in the room, 20 of them would be qualified within 6 months. Within 6 months, our average ticket is $300,000. So that's a $9,000 commission times 20 people. That's $180,000 in 6 months. Yeah.
I love it. You broke it down. Well, Queen, I first of all, I just want to say thank you for your time. Thank you for what you're doing. You in Atlanta, so we definitely got to meet up and do some content. And let's just keep building with each other. Let's just keep going. I love what you're doing. That's why I have my team reach out. I apologize about Verizon today when it act janky. Right? Like, and I was just on live like 30 minutes before, so I'm like, what's going on? Yeah, but it is what it is. So thank you so much for your time, Queen, and keep impacting the world, keep helping people.
I want every single person.
Any last words you want to say?
This is Black History Month. We are our ancestors' wildest dreams. Make this month count, because February always feels like 2 weeks. So every single day, do something, knock it off your list, because y'all didn't start your New Year's resolution in January. It's going to be March, April, May before you know it. Make February count. So 1, be in the house, be in the room of your boot camp so they can scale their business so you can take off when you need to, because you can't be off if you don't have a system in place. So thanks so much.